Shalloners. Let's talk about ex, baby. Namely, your boyfriend's ex. When we're dating someone, the biggest worry we have a lot of times is that obviously someone's going to cheat on you. And not just like go out and sleep with some random person they don't have feelings for. No. What a lot of us worry about is that they've still got feelings for the person who came before you or way before you. Someone who like lurks in their past and lives in myth and legend. Their ex. It's awful to think that maybe the person you're into is like sort of looking behind, because the thing is you can't look ahead and behind at the same time. So how do you know if your boyfriend is still obsessed with or has feelings for his ex-girlfriend? Well, we're going to look at that. I'm going to tell you some red flags and what you can do about it. First of all, the biggest red flag of all, I think, is our own intuition as women. We are systematically taught by men not to listen to our feelings. You know why? Because that is our source of power. And what better way of neutralizing an enemy or gaining power over someone than to tell them that they're crazy? We've all been told that. And isn't that the most like horrible insult a girl can hear? Like, she was crazy. Oh, my ex, she's crazy. That girl, that's the crazy chick. That's like the worst reputation you can get. So much worse than being a slut. I mean, a slut means you're good at one particular thing. Okay. Crazy. Ugh. Like, that's not a title any of us want. But that's what people do to keep you in control, to keep you feeling like, oh my God, they're right. You know, I can't say anything. I don't want to be the crazy girl. So we deny our instincts. If you think about it, we trust the instincts of animals way more than we trust our own. Like if you're walking your dog and it starts to bark at something in the bushes, you're not, don't be a pussy, just go in the bushes. You're like, oh God, there's something in there. Let's go away. We trust that animal. We might not be able to see what they see or smell what they smell or get the vibe that they got, but we're like, they know what's up. Why don't we trust ourselves like that? Now, I know what you're thinking. What if I am being crazy? If you look at your life and have your friends, recruit your friends, your family, you know, people who know you and can give you a neutral opinion, do you always kind of think this? Are you sort of a paranoid person who's always thinking that someone's cheating, someone's lying, someone's doing this? Maybe you got cheated on in the past. Honey, we've all been cheated on. We have all been cheated on, okay? Or if you haven't, you will, and it sucks, but you can't live the rest of your life in this like gripped by fear, because then you're carrying the trauma from that situation into the rest of your life. Why? Don't bring it with you. Leave it where it belongs. It had nothing to do with you. So if you chronically think people are lying and cheating, then yeah, maybe you need to look at what's fueling that. But if overall you're a pretty reasonable person, but there's just some that don't pass a smell test here, that's something that deserves to be explored. And here's how you explore it. You look for other red flags, because you can't go to your boyfriend and just be like, I have a feeling you still love your ex. He's going to be like, what the based on what? You're gonna be like, I don't know. That's not a real productive conversation to have. Here's a few things. Number one, he talks to her. I know this sounds super obvious, and I know also what you're thinking. You can be friends with an ex. No, you can't. No. Why? I mean, you can, I guess. You can do whatever you want. But why? 7 billion people in the world. This is the only female friend he can find? I personally, and I've said this before, I don't have guy friends. I have, like I did when I was a lot younger, sort of, but like not really. I'm just not that kind of person, because girls are for friends, boys are for love. I almost said a bad word. like my friends are girls, because I don't have baggage with girls. I never slept with those girls. They didn't break my heart. They didn't lie to me. They didn't spawn 1,000 morose Taylor Swift playlists, you know? I don't need to have someone in my life who reminds me of anything negative. And an ex usually does. If he's talking to her, there's some unfinished business there, because the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. I'm going to say that a lot throughout this video, so write it down. You don't want a guy to be friends with his ex, but you don't want him to hate her either. I want my boyfriend to feel super neutral about his ex. Yeah, I mean, we dated. She's kind of horrible towards the end. I didn't like the way she broke up with me, and how it ended. But, whatever. Wish her the best. Don't need to talk to her. That's what I want. I want that to be a done deal. Because if it's not a done deal, one of two things needs to happen. Either he needs to go to her, whether there's some lack of closure or she cheated on him or whatever it is, whatever thing that's stuck in his craw, he needs to go dig that out. Sit down with her, have a conversation, and be done with it so we can move forward. Or if he's still tied to her in some way, he needs to make a choice. But I'll get to that later. So yeah, the first red flag, he still talks to her. There is no reason, if they don't have kids, a dog, a house, or a business, that they need to be in contact. Your family doesn't need to be in contact with him. Your friends don't need to be in contact with him. It sucks, but you have to look at like the relationship that you're building now, you know, and he has to choose past or present, forward or backwards. Another red flag is he talks about her. She should not be in the foreground of his mind. You know how it is when you're super obsessed with someone like I am with Shawn Mendes, and then you just kind of find a way to weave it into conversations, kind of like I am now, even though it has no place and it makes people weirded out. If that's what he's kind of doing, like if he's telling a story or just bringing her up and inserting her into conversations, things they used to do, jokes they had, whatever. If it feels off to you, take a note of that. We're all storytellers as humans. And you know, it's okay to tell a story that involves someone you once dated. I mean, I'm not going to erase my history and scrub it of anybody male because the guy I'm dating can't handle it. No. But if I'm just like, you know, it's so funny that time Brent did this. It's like, do we need to talk about that? Why? He's not here. I am. You know, like why is that coming up? Another red flag, if he has really strong feelings about about the dude that his ex-girlfriend is dating. Again, the opposite of love isn't hate, it's apathy. He shouldn't care. I mean, want the best for her unless this guy's like dangerous or something like that, but like he shouldn't have like, oh, this guy's such a douchebag, why is she with him? Because the other end of that sentence is, why is she with him and not with me? And if that's how he feels, why are you with him and not somebody else? You know? So again, you're going to have to kind of gauge these situations and be like, is there something just a little off about this? Just something over the line of appropriate that just doesn't pass the test for me. Another red flag is that his friends are talking about her, because we've all dated someone where our friends like love them. With my ex-husband, I used to joke that if we ever split up, my friends and my family would keep him, like kick me to the curb. Like everyone loved him. And yet that's just kind of how breakups go. You know, I've loved some of my friends' boyfriends, and when they broke up, I've accepted like, hey, that's something you lost in the fire. I don't talk about him. I don't talk to him. That's their deal. That's a done deal. So if his friends are bringing her up, oh my God, yo, that's Caitlin. You remember we went snowboarding, blah, blah, blah. They're bringing her up because he is bringing her up. He is keeping her alive in this conversation. She is not dead and buried. She's a ghost haunting their conversations with her lameness. So if he's talking to her, if he's talking about her, if he has feelings about her boyfriend, or if his friends are bringing her up, these are all bad. One more bad thing is, and this is so obvious I almost didn't say it, but we must. If he's comparing you to her, naturally, we compare people to other people. This is just what we do as humans. Comparison also is the root of all unhappiness. If you think about it, every miserable moment in your life usually comes around because you're comparing your life or your situation, whatever it is, to somebody else's. It's agony. And like, this is our journey as humans. This is our work to stop comparing and to be happy with what you have. And that's where gratitude comes in. This is a whole separate topic, but gratitude turns what you have into enough. I'll just let that lie. So if he's comparing you to her directly and out loud, that's not good. That's not good. When I was younger, like, I didn't realize how not okay that was. I was just like, oh, well, Hannah went to the gym 7 days a week. Yeah, I will too. Yes, that's a great idea. That's a great idea. Because I wanted to be like so badly, and I wanted to win. I wanted to be like better than her, that I almost appreciated the comparison, because I was like, that's data, that's information, that now it's like, okay, now I know what I have to do to be better than her. I have to work out 7 days a week. Oh, she ran a half marathon. I'm going to run a full marathon. I'm literally never going to run a marathon. But like, I sort of appreciated now that I could see what the scoreboard was. No, no. I had a guy try to pull that with me recently. I picked up his phone. I pulled her number out. I said, you go ahead and call her if she's so much goddamn better than me. And I got news for you, sweetheart. No one is better than me. I mean, unless you're talking about math or running, assembling furniture, cooking chicken. There's a lot of things. But in these particular circumstances,